Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. So today we have something kind of cool. This is a little bit of a branch off from quadcopters like I normally do, but this channel is all about RC, all kinds of RC and tech. So today I've got this A-Cross. It's the A-Cross, and it's a four-wheel drive cross-country kind of rock racer, rock crawler, rock racer. It's a 1/12 scale 4x4. It says it can go 50 kilometers per hour. It's a 2.4 gigahertz, and it's claiming it's waterproof. Somehow I highly doubt that, but you know, you never know. But anyway, this is what I got here, and this is the 12428 version. There's also a version that has more of a truck body here. This is more the buggy body, and this is a ready to run 7.4 volt lithium ion battery 4x4 truck. So this is going to be a lot of fun. Again, I will have the links to this down in the description, so don't forget to check those links for some more information, current pricing, and all the specs you can find on this A-Cross. And this is by WLTOYS. So WLTOYS has got some good stuff, and we're going to see what this one's all about. What we're going to do is unbox this here in the living room because it's such a large box. It's hard to fit in my bench area. But after we take this out of the box here, I'm going to go ahead and move over to the bench, get some good lighting on it, some white background, and a good camera, and go in depth on all the parts. And we're going to look at it, inspect it really closely, and then in the same video here, I'm going to go ahead and take it out and do a running test. And at that time, we'll also do a pros and cons and see how this thing does. So let's go ahead and continue on with the unboxing. Box is slightly damaged here, but the truck looks okay. They also threw in this little Euro to US adapter in case I need it. Anyway, taking this thing out of the box. So just a couple of sticker tapes here. And slide this thing out. There you go. So there's the truck. And looks like the controller is all the way on the other side. Let's just pull this out real quick. So, little box. And the controller is all that's in that box. Little itty bitty controller, but as long as it works, it works. I'm assuming that's probably the charger. Yeah, that's just a little box of stuff, the charger and some wrenches and screwdrivers and stuff in that box. But here it is, the main event here, the A-Cross. I forget if I had undone the zip ties or they already came undone, but I think I went ahead and clipped them just to look at it real quick, just to make sure it was okay in the box when I first got it. But here it is. So there's the instruction manual and the charger and the controller. And look at this guy, man. This is a giant, ready to run, solid looking rock racer, rock crawler truck. Anyway, let's take this back to the bench. I don't want to get too into it here because I want to give you guys a better view with my other camera in a well lit white background area. So, but just first glance at it, man, this thing looks cool. So let's go ahead and take it back to the bench and do our setup and then go ahead and test drive it. Okay, so this is exciting. Here we are on the bench with the A-Cross rock climber. And let's go ahead and take a quick little inspection of it, close-up inspection, before we go ahead and take it out and drive it. Go over everything we get in the box here. I want to open this little box up here real quick and just see what's inside of this one. It looks like it's just the charger and a couple of tools. So it looks like we have a little hex wrench tool for the wheels and stuff. And we also have a charger. This is a Euro charger, but you know what? They did put in an adapter for the US in the box. So that's around here somewhere, but they did put that in the box. And then here is the balance port to charge the battery here, and the battery is a lithium ion 7.2 volt battery. Let's take this out really quick. It just has this little clip here. You pull up the little battery clamp and you can pull this out. Yep, so it's a 7.4 volt 1500 milliamp battery, you can see there, and it's a hard lithium ion with a Dean's connector, and there's the balance port there, which you're going to plug into the charger here. And just a little screwdriver, a little cheap little screwdriver, and that's basically it in that box. And also you get this instruction manual here, so just your basic instruction manual. So go ahead and take a glance at that if you're wondering what all the components are. So let's put that stuff on the side real quick and go ahead and look at this thing kind of in depth. So it looks like the battery holder is just kind of these two prongs that stick in a front slot, and then it goes over this little body looking clip, just like so. Right off the bat, I'm noticing that it's a little bit springy. This one does not have oil filled shocks, and I don't think you can put oil in these unless you change some O-rings in here. So a little bit of a con right off the bat is you cannot fill these with oil as it is out of the factory here. You got to do a little bit of some work on those shocks to get them oil filled. But anyway, moving on around the truck here, we got some nice soft, feels like foam filled tires with B-locks, and these are going to be real working plastic B-locks here. The full tire on the back. This is a plastic roll cage. You can kind of see it bend here. It's a durable, bendy plastics, so it's not going to be snapping anytime soon. It's going to be bending instead of snapping. And we can see all the way around, we got some nice grippy tires here. And you can see the Lexan body pieces are all well put together, very durable looking, and all bolted down into the frame. And then we have a little driver here in the cockpit here. And it looks like these are actual LED lights. So cool. So we'll power that up in just a second so we can see those LED lights work. And then the front also has two LED lights there as well. So that's neat. And this is a full four-wheel drive vehicle. I'm seeing that there's axles running across the front and the back. These are metal axles here. And the drive shafts, you can see that this is a fully metal cup drive shaft here on both ends, and then it is a telescoping plastic in the middle, it looks like. So that would take out some stress for it to twist. If it ever does really catch and bind on something, this will twist before the metal parts break. And you can see the bottom is this nice smooth gliding type of bottom here, where it's going to glide really nice and easy across rocks and dirt and sand. And everything looks to be pretty well put together. You know, we have the A-arms here, top and bottom. It's a large H-arm on the bottom, and then it's actually just a link on the top, plastic link on the top. They do feel like they're kind of bendy plastic links, so I'm not seeing any foreseen breaking or cracking right off the bat, but we definitely will be testing that in just a sec. We'll do a thorough run test and a little bit of a bash just to make sure this thing will last and see if anything breaks. In the front, we can kind of see in there, it's got that kind of it looks familiar to like the Traxxas Revo type of suspension, where you have like that cantilevered suspension in the front where the shocks are actually laid down in this direction, and it has this little lever here that actuates the shock. Anyway, that's pretty much it. A neat looking buggy. You know, if there was one thing they could have done, it would be oil-filled shocks. Would have made it a no-brainer. But still cool. It just feels a little bit bouncy to me, like it's going to be bouncing around a lot, just because there's no oil in the shocks. Anyway, that's the truck. You can see that kind of bounce there. Here's the remote control. Real easy and simple remote with like a foam surrounding on the wheel. You have your trim. This is like a really cheap remote, so nothing special here. It takes 3 AA batteries. Clip shut. Of course, you have your forward throttle, your braking and reverse, and then it's just your steering trim here. It looks like it's got some modes here, so let's go ahead and power this all up and just see what the mode does, and also see how these lights look. Okay, so I got it plugged in, got batteries in the controller, and here's the lights. So we got 4 Baja lights on top and 2 in the front. Looks really cool, gives it that really cool Baja look, really nice looking. And the controller, once you turn it on, it just binds and turns red. And let's see how it is if we just give it some throttle here. Nice. So that's the brake, throttle, brake, and reverse. Yep. So it looks like everything's working. And we'll have to test this 1, 2, 3, 4 button in the when we do our drive test in just a second. But I'm assuming maybe that's a speed. Maybe it has 4 modes of speed. We'll have to check that out. Okay, so let me top off this battery and let's go drive this bad boy in the dirt and rocks and street and see how it does. Okay, so here we are with the A-Cross just out in front of the house here on the cul-de-sac, and gonna kind of put it through some road and curb driving as well as some kind of rocks just to see how this thing handles it. It's a little bit of an overcast day today, but you know, the grass is a little wet and stuff, but that'll kind of give us an idea if it can handle some damp grass and stuff. So let's go ahead and plug this thing in. There we go. Go ahead and turn the transmitter on, and we have it bound up and it looks like it's ready to go. All right, got the battery clamped in here so it won't fly out. Let's see what this thing can do. So just want to make sure we tune in the trim here on the steering first. So let me just kind of get it going on the road here. It's pulling to the left, so we want to turn this dial to the right a little bit. That looks like it's just about perfect as far as trimming goes. And let's see what it can do. Wow, it's definitely got power. You can see it kind of pulling up on the one of the wheels, kind of wheeling. So that's cool. What I'm noticing is it's a little bouncy, and that's because these shocks are not oil filled. So you're not going to get that dampening there, but still super fun. Let's see what it does on some jumps. Whew! Oh, okay. So you can see that it's gonna tip if you're like on grippy concrete and stuff, asphalt. We're gonna get some tipping. Let's go ahead and bring this thing in the grass here. Whoops. There's another little flip over in the grass. Some curb jumping. Definitely can handle. Whoa! A little front flip there. Let's see how it does in the grass. Yeah, so super bouncy. Bouncy in any kind of whoa. There's another flip. Oh yeah, this thing also has a switch here, so you can actually plug it in and switch it on and off from there. So you don't have to actually just plug it in and have it on. So let's went ahead and switched that off, and I switched it on again, and we're back in business without even turning off the controller. So I'm not seeing any oh, there we go, through the rocks, no problem. So I'm seeing this mode here, and let's see what this does. So just kind of driving it around. Let's go ahead and look at the lights here on the front real quick. You can see that we got some cool headlights there in the front and on the top rail for LED lights. I'm trying to figure out what this mode button does. Kind of clicking it, but I'm not really seeing anything happening on the mode. Definitely super quick, man. And that's the braking there. So this is like full throttle. Let me go do a full throttle test here. So full throttle, and then I'm gonna do braking where you're just pushing it back, coming quick, and then brake. So you can see how fast that thing brakes. So it's got really good braking here, really good torque, and it looks like the differential is really good at keeping it from spinning out all the time. So here we go in the grass. Looks like it's doing pretty good. Pretty fast. You just want to turn a little bit slower when you're in like dry asphalt or concrete, otherwise you're going to kind of flip it. Yeah, so it looks like it's doing really good. Woo! Oh! There was a somersault forward flip. Everything seems to be fine. So a little bit of a con. I can't figure out really what this mode button's doing. I actually honestly can't notice any difference whatsoever for that mode. trying to kind of click and hold it in. I was hoping maybe like a low torque setting for crawling and then a high speed setting, but there's really no indication, there's no beeps, and I can't really see any speed difference. But definitely seems pretty durable. Kind of flipping it around. Okay, and that's the reverse. So if you hit the brakes and then you press reverse again, that's your reverse there. So let's try some bashing here on the rocks and stuff and see how it does. Cool. So it looks like it can do pretty good in the rocks. Kind of like a rock racer. Wow. It's doing better than I actually thought it would in the rocks, that's for sure. Cool. See how it negotiates these larger ones here. So it looks like the differential is going to start slipping. There we go, got out of that one. So lots of torque and power. I'm still not hearing any problems with the gearbox or anything. So it really seems like it's going to soak up pretty much whatever you can throw at it. Pretty good at jumping. It's doing good in the grass, actually. I'm surprised how good it's doing in the grass. Let's go ahead and do this jump here from my neighbor's yard. Just come straight up here, full throttle. Little jump there. So yeah, it actually does pretty good for not having any oil in the shocks. It honestly is soaking up everything pretty darn good. Just have to watch that flipping over. Having oil-filled shocks would actually help that flipping problem as well for more dampening. Let's see how it does trying to get over a curb. Oh, not quite. It's got the articulation, that's for sure, but wow. It just doesn't have, let's see if it has the ability to climb this curb here. So somewhere where you might get stuck up on like a curb like that. But let's see if we can just full throttle over this curb here. So this is a standard sidewalk curb. Well, can't quite get over that. But you know, don't really expect it to get over a curb like that because the wheels aren't giant. I am noticing, you see how when I turn right, the right wheel's not lifting up, but when I turn left, that left wheel is giving us a tilt up there. So maybe a little bit of suspension imbalance isn't really a big deal, but just something to take note of. Let's come on through the rocks again here this way. See how it can handle all this stuff. Whoa! So I'm just really kind of hammering this thing. So something like that, it's going to get kind of hung up on the center, so you may have to kind of help it. And you're going to have to kind of pick your tire line a little bit. So this is more of like a fast rock racer, not necessarily good for like slow crawling. Whew! there was a launch over some rocks. Let's try that again. Nice. I just jammed it right into the front A-arm when I landed and nothing broke yet. Let's see how this thing's holding up. Yeah, everything still seems solid. I'm not seeing any broken components yet, so that's good. Looks like everything's bending instead of breaking. Awesome. So that was full throttle right over those rocks, and it just sailed right over there. You can see how good it's doing, and I'm leaving it full throttle on when it's landing, and the transmission and the gearing and everything seems like it's really holding up so far. Saw that one, that was right into the front, and I'm not seeing any damage here, so a little bit of nicks and scratches, but everything's holding up good, man. This thing is so far super durable so far. And fast. Oh, double front flip onto its lid. Cool. So really putting this thing through the test here and up this little driveway here, this little sidewalk. See how it does in here. This is some wet grass. See how this does. So, you know, gravel like this, no problem for it. It's gonna run right through it. See how it kind of traverses this little landscaping barrier here. Kind of see the articulation. So slightly hooked up, and you can see that the differential's coming into play here, where that left rear tire isn't really spinning, and it's letting the other tires spin for traction. But look at that, you can definitely get over some stuff, that's for sure. Let's try this way. Yeah, so it's gonna get hung up on situations like that, but power through it. There you go. Boom! Oh! Okay. That was a good durability flipping test. Let's try that again. Come down here full throttle and launch over here and see if we can break something. Ooh! Oh! Yeah, we're having fun. Looks like everything's fine. Okay. Total abusion test. Boom! There's another one. Hope. Yeah, so we're putting this thing through an initial review and durability test all in one. The battery seems pretty strong. It's getting a little bit weak now, but look, nothing's wrong with it. Everything is fine. There's no broken arms, axles, torsion bars. So look at the durability on this thing. Very impressed. Even though it doesn't have oil-filled shocks, man. Seems like a tank so far. Let's give it a few more rock runs. Nice. So pretty much it seems to me like anything you can throw at this thing, we'll have a little bit of chassis hang-ups on bigger rocks and stuff, but this thing is meant for going fast, it looks like, and taking abuse. So nice. Oh. I can definitely say the fun factor on this thing is awesome. And it can handle pretty gnarly bashing. Look at that, just jumped right over that whole rock area. Again, so in actuality, the bouncy suspension really helps it launch. If you had an oil dampened suspension, you wouldn't be getting this gnarly of jumps and stuff. So actually, the fun factor on the springy suspension is a positive thing. Because look at that, you can just launch. So far so good too. Still no problems, battery's still strong. Notice it being a little bit weak, but I'm just launching. And this thing's putting up with everything I'm putting it through. Nice. Oh, okay. So it looks like we have a low voltage cutoff. So I noticed it getting a little bit weak. And I'll have the timing up after I review the video. I'll have that on the screen. But look at that. So We've got a little bit of a low voltage cutoff there. It just kind of cuts off, gets a little bit weak so you don't destroy the battery. Let's go through a quick little pros and cons with this. It's definitely cool looking, and the suspension it's got a lot of articulation. You can see all this articulation here. A little bit of a con there was when I was turning in one direction, you could see that the whole thing was lifting up, but the other direction it was not popping up the front. A little bit of a con is that it's not oil-filled shocks. You can actually make these oil-filled I've read if you just put the correct O-ring in these, you can actually go ahead and fill them with oil and have that dampening. Tires, really good. You get a full usable tire on the back for the spare tire. I'm noticing just from feeling the bottom here, feels like the motor is getting pretty hot. It's almost too hot to touch on the bottom here. That is that brushed 540 style motor, but the thing seemed fine as far as performance, and I'm not smelling any melting or anything, so it seems pretty good. And I was putting this thing through some gnarly abuse, man. You can see those jumps and flips. I really thought I was going to break one of these front steering components, but everything is still rock solid. It seems like they've gone for more of a bendable plastic that's not kinking. I don't see any stress marks or anything on here, so really impressed. None of the gearing or metal has stripped. Looks like everything is fine. We've got a few scuff marks on the bottom here just from high centering it a little bit, and that's maybe a little bit of a con on this thing. Is it's meant for going fast, so if you're going to try to do some crawling and stuff, just be careful. If you do go over some large rocks, you'll probably high center it and it won't be able to get over those bigger rocks, as you've seen in the video. So you're going to want to kind of really choose your lines precisely for some slower rock crawling. What I'm noticing I didn't notice before is I lost a front LED cover, so maybe I'll look around and find that thing. Probably fell off when I was flipping it all crazily like on the asphalt, so I'll be looking around for that cover. So just so you guys know that these may pop off. But as far as the looks go, really nice looking, performed very well for what it was. It actually performed much better than I thought it would, and it did hold up to this bash test. Anyway guys, I hope you like this review. Don't forget, I will have the links down in the description for this guy of where you can pick this up, current pricing, and also all the specs on it. You can go ahead and click on that link and check all the specs on this thing. But overall, really satisfied. I think it's great bang for the buck here, and I would buy one of these again for like one of my kids or as a present or something. Pretty awesome for getting into RC, and super fast. One of the other cons here, the mode. Couldn't really get the mode button to work here. I kept pressing it. There's no audible beep, and there's no indication anything's changing in the mode. I did also try to hold the button down, and if it is changing like torque settings or speed settings, I really couldn't notice it for the driving I've done today. Anyway guys, do a lot of reviews like this, so go ahead and check out the channel. I think you'll like it. And anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.